It works very well for the trucks that 40, you know, if they're on 40 without having to make a turn, they end up, you know, on the bypass on the parkway. So they have to turn onto Main Street to stay onto Main Street.
Is that an intersection right there?
Yeah, these would
Lighted.
both be. And so we would restrict some of the movements here, so there'd be no southbound lefts here, no eastbound lefts here. And so by restricting some movements, we've been able to get it to operate effectively. We've had UDOT.
Oh, you've taken that other one out, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah.
You said that didn't need to be.
Yeah. So we've had UDOT review the traffic analysis and.
You know, in all fairness though, this has been anticipated and those property owners up there, have known it's been anticipated for that 16, 17 years.
That line
It was
was
before
on,
they were built.
that line was on the
Yep,
map.
it's been that way.
Been on Weber City's
And I appreciate that no one wants to roll.
Yeah, that doesn't make them feel a lot better.
Doesn't make them feel better, but it has been on the map for that.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to have a road right
Were there disclosures that they were forced to sign with the White
there. There weren't any disclosures.
If they had a good agent, that agent should have disclosed to them.
Which often doesn't happen.
It often does happen, Mike,
Well,
It doesn't.
I just deal with the ones that don't.
because we're the ones that are going to get sued if you don't disclose it.
Because it's a legal requirement, isn't it?
For the seller to disclose, and if you're smart, you're going to put that in the disclosures. You're not going to hide it.
For the ethical people that do that, it's not an issue.
Right.
And so those problems to people that live there, people that had those agents, right? Because they live
Well, I don't
somewhere
know.
else.
You know, and homes change hands, and I mean, a lot of things happen.
Right. But I'm just saying, part of the buyer's due diligence is to go to Doug Smith's office and go, this is open farmland, what's been talked about? And any agent should tell their buyer to go talk to somebody. So but it's been on there for a very long time, like Mike said. So that's the point. It's like there have been some homes that have changed hands within that time.
Weber City's also pointing out multiple development requests near this new.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of pressure right now for you guys.
What's going in that green triangle that we flipped over and all come down? The storage units come this way towards 189, that green triangle, where the house was out.
Oh, this
Right
way.
there.
And so far, all they're doing is street enhancements with curb gutter and sidewalk. We don't have a proposal there yet.
Are you guys working with them on the offset on that corridor agreement down 189? Remember how far things can be off that as we put in that corridor agreement?
Well,
Setbacks and all that.
well, that's absolutely.
I was referring, I think, Matt, to the pressure just north of the trailer park. Some of the development approvals that are coming in, Tony, that are near that. I think you were talking about some type of commercial facility.
Talking about
restaurant.
40?
Yeah.
Yes.
on 40.
Yeah, we've got several. Timber Mill is the biggest one.
Yeah, Nelson's still on that.
You've probably seen them breaking ground on their Blue Rooster restaurant there.
That's what I was thinking.
And it'll be over this, it'll be to the south,
On this side,
Yeah.
so this wouldn't impact that.
Yeah, I even had the site plan and plotted it, and we can still get the bypass through that.
So what would Heber City want from us to amend your transportation plan so this becomes your policy? That's really what needs to happen.
I guess that's the question I have in terms of UDOT support. Ultimately, UDOT's got to have buy-up on this. What more do we need to do to get UDOT's buy-up and support of this?
That's the reason for taking this to RUP staff meeting tomorrow. When I originally taken this to them, their indication was that they would like Eric Gransband from our region to review the traffic modeling and stuff, and Eric has done that for us. And so far his suggestion is this right there, and that's what I plan to take to RUP tomorrow. Eric will be in that meeting with me to back me up and say when I've gone through the numbers and all the analysis and stuff, this is the one that makes the most sense. This is the one that helps traffic flow the best. This is the one that helps get trucks to follow the bypass around the city so that the city can have their vision of Main Street. So, so I think we'll get that tomorrow morning.
You think UDOT at some point would issue us a letter saying that's our preferred route?
As I talked with Matt and others, they said that they likely won't use the word preferred, they're going to use the word recommended.
Okay.
But if that's something you guys are looking for, then yeah, I can ask for something written or whatever where we agree with the recommendations from.
We incorporate that into ours.
Exactly.
Pure transportation.
Exactly. Fantastic.
Then the other, so for the west segment, we are recommending more of this type of a configuration. This has a lot to do with the traffic volume that there's, when we're rerouting 189, we end up with a lot more through traffic. And so then we have kind of north-south traffic. And so this configuration supports that better. We could do a traffic signal here instead of a roundabout, but we like the idea of the roundabout because it makes it easier for trucks to keep moving and they don't always have to stop. Whereas if there's a signal, they have to stop and turn left. They have to stop almost every time. And so we felt like the roundabout is a way to keep traffic flowing more smoothly, particularly during.
It's just got to be a big one.
Yeah.
It is a big one. That's all. This is a really big one. It's like over 300 feet in diameter. So it's
So,
Mike, out down here on 189, what property would we have to acquire if we moved up? There was some discussion earlier, and I wasn't sure. Doesn't the sewer farm come right down? What pieces does the sewer farm have down in there? I know their farmhouse is right there where the W is.
right.
Everything on the inside of that, because that was the whole point.
Well, everything, but does it
Yeah,
come
that's why
across
we dropped.
2400 south?
no, they don't have this.
That was my question.
And we almost certainly would
Yeah.
have to acquire this to help make them whole with all the impacts we would have to the
Yeah,
city.
you're almost got an equal exchange, taking Southfield out and moving it over here. It's close to.
Yeah, our math tells us that we need, because there's a 100-foot buffer around the entire corridor.
Yeah,
And so when we do the math, we're calculating that we need to replace about a little over 50 acres of farm.
so that'd be easy to pick up that.
So there's a decent chunk here, and then obviously in freeing up, removing some of these roads, that also creates some land that could be used with that type of a trade.
Are you saying that outside of the 120-ish feet for the corridor, you're buying a buffer outside of that as well?
We wouldn't necessarily have to buy it. I don't know who would own it necessarily, but they are not able to farm in that because it's too close to the road, just given the quality of irrigation water that they're using. I don't remember even who it is, which agency is kind of has some jurisdiction over that.
Are we sure about that? Then we can confirm that, the 100 feet thing?
I
That's
think we were
different.
pretty sure. I mean, the one thing we weren't 100% sure on is this, is that measured from the edge of the road or from like the edge of the right of way? But that's only a difference
Because
of about
189 comes down
130
through the
feet.
same,
How many
Well,
feet?
Well, and some of it's, you've been grandfathered in versus,
How many feet between those houses and that road?
oh, up here.
Yeah, how many feet between like their back fence? Is that right there?
I mean, so this obviously could shift a little bit.
you got the flood channel between them and the road, it looks like.
Yeah, so there's the flood channels. I mean, so you can see if the road's the blue line, there's 70 feet or so to the actual edge of the road. We're assuming that this orange line is where there would be a trail adjacent to the road, similar, to basically continuing what you've got over here and coming over and hooking into the rail trail system in some fashion. Clearly, there could be a little bit, there's some room, wiggle room here. It's just the more we move into the sewer farm, the more impacts there are and it has to be mitigated. But
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could do as much as possible, depending on what the numbers are.
yeah,
So maybe I'm not, so in this process, if we take farmland out of production, we have to mitigate Oh, because of the way the property was
Yeah,
purchased.
BOR purchased
Gotcha.
as a mitigation measure for
Gotcha.
the Deer Creek Reservoir.
But the Beaver Valley Special Service District talked about removing, what is that, 1200 west? There's
South.
an issue with removing that line way, you pick a lot more up. And
Southfield
efficiency,
Road.
efficiency of the heads would be more efficient for them.
Well, and they can get back and forth to their two halves.
Yes.
Easy. They like this. Dennis Dunn was the one that came up with this
We
configuration.
won't have it for Olympic parking this time.
Did you use that last time?
Yeah.
Did you?
Really?
Paid it.
I remember that.
Wait, where was it?
Paid
This-
for the farm.
Sioux
Are
Farm.
you kidding?
No,
That big green circle,
the big green one.
Oh,
Was
because it was
limit
winter, so
parking.
you could.
We actually paid it. Then we pulled the pavement up.
So maybe we need to do that again, wouldn't we?
Well, you could get to it now,
Oh, yeah, because you'd have to have access.
'cause, well,
well, if the access.
I don't know. I mean, it's a ways off, everything's a ways off.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah, that's
goodness,
where they park.
interesting. That's smart, actually, that makes sense.
Yeah. I remember that.
Did you chip seal or did you actually asphalt it?
Asphalt.
Okay.
You don't have any more mountain roads to pave with it when you rip it up, so you gotta find another place to put it if you're to pave it again. Guardsman's is pretty nice.
We always got a place to put it.
We know.
Cascade.
Oh, it's got a place for it.
So what are the decision points do we hit this morning?
I mean, so these are our recommendations. We're not hearing a lot of disagreement on the recommendations for the west and the south segment. So I think, that's probably good for Jeremy to have his discussion with Rob and Terry to say, we've discussed it with the county and the city, NPO, everyone seems to be on board. Really all the uncertainty seems to be up on the north end, where there's the environmental issues that are really out of our control and beyond what we're able to look at and the level of detail we're able to get into in this study, which is really the driver for the environmental.
I guess I'd still like to see that, which you had labeled option A on these other maps, which you've taken off, the further sweep.
In the north
The wide
fence.
sweep.
Yeah, I mean, so we can
And you gotta adjust
certainly
it
get
in.
into particularly what do we want to show at a public
Yeah, there you
meeting.
go. See this one, if you look at this one.
I wouldn't show any of them because
Yeah,
See
doesn't
how
matter.
this one- the reason it came straight down and then dove to the west.
So, how much, so back on this one, because as an engineer, I care about the details. Does the county own this whole parcel
We
here?
do.
Both of them, yeah.
Both of them here?
No, that one, the city has an agreement on the corridor for the bypass.
Is that?
Right, from there to there, from that line right there to the south, to 650 South, right?
And well, and it goes on past to the
The
county
county,
piece.
from that line north, owns both of those parcels in whole.
These two right here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and then going south of 650, they have a right of way
Right.
to open.
Right.
Right.
That clear through that piece, the one that got the, right there. Go to the,
Yeah.
Well, we don't have
not
one.
out that way. But they do on the,
The county owns that right where the UDOT is, we've got that
This
piece.
little triangle piece, yeah.
And then up to the north, we've got a piece, so we've got a piece in between we don't have, right there. Yeah.
at the public open house is what you're asking, Ivan, why would you show any alignments? Because it would just stir up
Yeah.
emotions
That could be fun. We could just put
unnecessarily.
a big shape or something. and
Especially
say-
not over Mr., I'm gonna sue you if there's my line across my property. So we'll not even stir that up if it's not even a thing.
If we can avoid stirring it up at this point, we can still accomplish what we need to without doing that.
But where do you show the bottom line coming out of?
I don't know.
Show it coming
It'd
out.
have to be somewhere out here or something like that.
well, if we had to take a more of a dive so that across both those pieces originally.
Maybe we just cloud it instead of showing
Yep.
actual lines.
It's great,
Do
yeah.
a cloud.
It'll be in this area
Yeah.
somewhere.
50% transparency thing goes up, connects to the US 40.
And I think the idea of saying, well, we've got to investigate the wetlands is a perfect reason to not.
It is the truth,
Do that.
and
It
it
is
is
the
the reason that we cannot continue to make progress right now. We have to figure out the wetlands.
And they have such a heavy stick that it's really going to drive
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of this,
Yeah.
Wasn't President Trump changing some of those requirements?
I think that they are trying to, well, my understanding, I
Streamlining?
don't deal with environmental law, but I know they were trying to change some of the definitions of what becomes kind of the waters of the US, you know.
So,
Because sometimes a little ditch somehow, if the groundwater connects to some other thing, all of a sudden it becomes a water of the US and it's now a federally protected wetland and stuff. So I think it's more fiddling with the edges, but nothing that would fundamentally change anything that we've heard from Andrea thus
So
far.
what about, because I was at a meeting of the Governor's Rural Partnership Board, and they were talking about expediting these studies, and I guess the one, the time frame, so that's it.
I have heard discussions of the administration trying to encourage environmental streamlining, which means that the government agency that's in charge of making the decision has a certain amount of time, say 30 days, to make a decision, make that decision and move on, but I don't know that that's been.
And they said, the guy I talked to said some of the other organizations have sped up, but not the Army Corps of Engineers yet, so maybe that would.
Yeah, I mean, I worked on the Mountain View Corridor project down in Salt Lake, and they have put an application into the Army Corps of Engineers in February for a permit for wetlands, and they still don't have the permit. And now they've got hired a contractor, and they're basically about ready to get started, and they're still waiting to get this permit from the Army Corps.
And they already have the environmental study.
Yeah.
Just trying to get it.
Just getting the
I
permit.
would say, I don't know how these lines got drawn, or the wetland areas got drawn, but I know on some of our areas, further to the south and to the west, they're not accurate. They're very old.
Yep.
These were done back in the 40s, and a lot of them were placed there based on vegetation rather than actual.
Agreed. And that's what Kendall keeps
Soils.
pointing out, is that there is a drying trend that's taking place there, and that's what the wetland delineation would do, is it would look at the
Right.
soil type. You know, it'd say, what is causing this soil type to occur through time? These guys do a very intricate scientific-based study of different plots of land, and they will actually then outline where they define wetlands, and it will be different than what you see up here today.
Didn't some of this come from Human Light Powers wetland?
Yeah, that's what the kind of purple.
They've worked with UDOT to get
To
pretty
get there.
good clearance for the power, which is what we voted on last night.
And yet they were looking at just spot.
Well, yeah, like
They did
they
their
pull.
full corridor, and you can see they did it
Oh, did
pretty continuously.
They want it to be
Corridor.
far enough out to be out of any potential bypass interference.
We can't just do spots, like a bridge or something, right, with our road.
Yeah, just have little pillars.
Yeah, you can do that. I talked to Andrea.
Rode all the way to the Florida Keys, come on.
If we struck oil under there, maybe we could.
Yeah, I mean, my family lives in Louisiana, and so you drive miles and miles of causeway.
Well, I've been told that you can build roads that allow the
Yeah,
water so you don't interrupt only where you put the road.
right.
That allows the free flow. Oh, I know, it's way more expensive.
Big money.
Or mitigation of,
We're worried about one overpass, we're talking about the whole thing.
mitigation of, okay, we're interrupting this much bypass, where can we mitigate it? Like they did this side of the dam out there.
So up in Gilbert, Wyoming, a guy donated some land to the local community out of the county or city, whatever, for Fair Park, and they built a big equestrian park up there. It's huge. I mean, it's a monster. And they discovered oil on it. And so the revenue they get from this oil, they have the most amazing facility.
I'll pay for it.
They just have this money.
And I think there's,
Beverly Hillbillies.
maybe we can have all this open space, we can mitigate those wetlands over the midway.
I don't think we're that lucky.
So Ivy, what else do you need from us?
This is really it. I mean, if everyone's in agreement on the west and the south segments, then I think,
And to not make a recommendation in the north segment. We also want to make sure that we're all in agreement with that.
When I think you were asking.
But to push for a study so we can tie it down a bit
Exactly.
better.
That is the recommendation for the north, is to push the study.
So if we take this route that we're talking right now, does that push the southern component ahead, and so the city can start to look at some of their there are pressures there. I mean, they've got pressures both ends, obviously, and school districts may be involved. And, I mean, we got a lot of pressures.
Right.
And what I'm afraid is if we go too long and we're redoing the whole thing again.
That can't happen. That's
Yeah,
That's shot at it.
Yeah, we've got political will to get over the end zone now, so we've got to make sure we do this right. So, if you'll take the information to your superiors, and get that recommendation, and then if we can get a team today, right now, to start lobbying UDOT and the governor's office, so we can strategize that, I think that's your game plan. And get with, who's the young lady that does the yard for us?
Yes, Bree.
Make sure she's contacted so that the citizenry who's been involved to date is communicated with, so they understand what's going on tomorrow.
Super important. We need to have a follow-up public open house to tell them what we've discovered, what the recommendations are, and what the path forward is.
So, is UDOT aware of the proposal to move 189?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, when I had brought that up to Rob's staff meeting before, their response basically was, let's see what the numbers tell us and what makes the most sense as far as how traffic moves and those sort of things.
Because that's kind of a key component to make your design work.
Mike, you're right, and we were really concerned about this at the very front end of this particular study, which is why we got Terry exchanging communication with Ivan Marrero, who is our federal highway administrator in Salt Lake City, to see if we could move US 40 to the west side. And the result of that conversation is, yes, we can do that. It is something that's allowed. UDOT is permitted to do so. We're working with the local governments.
We were moving 40.
Yep.
Yeah, so this would be 189 right here.
Well, and the governor, I mean, I got emails from them too.
Yeah.
And the governor went back to Washington and said, this is a local
It's-
control issue. And then I started getting,
It's really what the Mayor Potter did.
How much-
To start that off was when Governor Herbert started asking
when we
these
sat in that
questions.
meeting.
Yeah.
And they got everyone's
So
attention.
they all have agreed to it. They just said we just have to meet certain criteria, and everyone's been on board with this idea.
Wow.
How much discussion has there been with Heber, I mean, even the county, whether, I understand that would be the new 189, but to keep the current 189 as a local road or access into that area from local, I don't,
Discussions like that.
yeah, we need to, definitely need to.
That, with doing that though, we then still do have traffic on that, and that
You gotta
has
get them on.
significant impacts on what we decided for that hub area in the south. So if that's something you guys are considering, that's definitely going to impact the recommendation.
That would be.
Well, but you maybe cut off that little piece, but
You could maybe
Okay.
bring it in on Third.
I mean, the property, the airport is the sewer farm.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
don't need that road through there, and that's what UDOT's hoping you're going
Yeah.
to say. Because if you don't say that,
Yeah, and that's exactly why we wanted to kind of make sure we're on agreement
Is the
today.
city okay with that? I mean, it's kind of your thing.
Yeah, we've had some short conversations, yeah.
Does the south of the road go away too? Yeah.
across the sewer farm, it would.
And then you-
Well, it'd be their internal road, they probably.
you can reclaim that if you want for irrigated sewer. You could reclaim 89 as irrigated.
We
sewer.
talked about that.
How would you handle the intersection there with Southfield Road where the roundabout is? What would you do there?
There would not be any access here. So the idea is that this would be grade separated, that there would be an access point here. So people, like, say from this area that wanted to get on bypass would either come up to here or come in from the east, but there wouldn't be access right here.
You just leave it to the end there where the end of the property is.
Got to kind of work our way through some of the details, but we're headed in the right direction.
See, we have a lot of access here for the fairground residents and the ball diamonds.
Yeah. And we got to continue to work to make sure that we have the right type of access and the right type of signage so people can get their way in and out of that.
And that's part of the reason that we did say, let's have an access point to the corridor here.
No, you gotta go down Midway Lane.
No, at both of them. We
Oh.
have it at both places so that you could get in access into the.
If the high school actually goes, then it would be critical to get access to that.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be a midway lane.
And if the bypass is the access to fairgrounds and the ballparks and stuff, you'll want both of those, because you don't want to force everyone into one access to the, it'll just jam everything.
Are they looking at any other sites for the high school, Plan B or anything, or that's the only thing they're focused on?
That's option A right now, that's not.
I've heard, and it was interesting, I don't know how they thought access would happen with the bypass, but this was looked at too. Proposition 10 piece. I don't know how serious, but there was some talk that had been, but that's probably off the table.
I certainly hope it's off the table.
Well, it wasn't a good site in my mind, because
No, it's a terrible site.
rezoning or whatever, you still, how you gonna get there? They'd have to bring a road in from either Midway Lane or 12, is it 1200?
This is preferred site right here.
School district doesn't have to rezone,
Oh, no, they do what they want.
so they're under state authority.
What else?
Let's hope they go.
That's it.
I think that's it, yeah.
So before we adjourn, who wants to be on this special team in line?
Me.
I'll be part of that.
And working for the mayor, as soon as you want some assistance, so I would be involved.
Perfect.
I think that's a good idea.
Excellent.
I'll call. I can contact Mike in the governor's office. I mean, we've already talked to them, where we see how they can help us push this. I've got a couple of connections that we can start looking.
That's not your whole map, but it's sort of.
Yeah, we can figure it out. Okay.
Hopefully the county do it on Mike, I don't mind Mike either way, maybe you.
So, let me just ask a question, and I know on some of the developments we're seeing now, a lot of these guys, they go hire a heavy hitter obvious. They seem to get a lot done. I don't know if that's worth the
Talk
best
about
or
that.
not.
Let's
Yeah,
talk about
Sean's
that
got
if we
some
can.
ideas for that.
When we get back together.
Okay, I mean, out of it, we're getting portals paid for, we're getting Jordan Parkway paid for, I mean, we're talking,
That's updated.
probably $60 million worth of infrastructure just in 2 years, so they were able to
I
get a lot of
think you're spot on.
UDOT.
It's the new normal.
Well, once UDOT gives its nod to these alignments, at what point do we adopt those as part of our transportation plans? Once UDOT says we're okay.
ASAP, I say.
I think so. For us, we got so much pressure on that south end, we got this letter.
That
So
solves
we
a
did
lot.
get a hand.
Let them know what's.
The Turner Mill people will be jumping up and down. In your office.
Well, and I expect this public meeting that we'll have probably in late January will be helpful in that regard as well, just to, yeah, get a lot of feedback on
Yeah,
that.
there's so much uncertainty, and I know, I understand those frustrations. So even just getting a portion of it, saying, this is where it's going to be. So you-
And our plan is to meet with some of those same stakeholders that we met with beforehand, so that they get these answers
Right,
from
yeah, I want
us
them to know. what
before
to
the
do.
public meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, we want them on board before we go to the public